On this episode of Tastecast, we'll be discussing games we've been playing. We'll be reacting to Concerned Apes Haunted Chocolatier early gameplay video. We'll also be reacting to Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition trailer, and we'll be watching Halo Infinite official campaign overview, which was very interesting to watch. Stay tuned to find out, but it's been an interesting journey watching Halo be developed in real time in front of us. Then we, of course, read your comments and reply to them on the last episode of Tastecast. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about in this episode, but a couple quick reminders to download and play. This is your last week. Hell Let Loose, Mortal Kombat X, and PGA Tour 2K21, all available on PlayStation Plus. Download those, play those, come back this weekend for Plus Club to let us know what you thought of those games, and we will let you know we thought of them. And our game of the month picked by you guys in the community pick game of the month is Grand Theft Auto Online. We have played it. We will be discussing it this weekend for game of the month and picking next month's game of the month as well. And then, yeah, we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. All right, let's get into Tastecast. Let's have this conversation. What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 151 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast where we talk about random things in gaming. My name's Seth, and of course, joining me today is Chevy, my brother. How you doing? You ready to talk about games? We got videos to watch. Let me know what's going on with you in life.
Doing good. I keep forgetting that we're running out of year here.
It's coming quick.
Yeah, I need to figure out.
We got to be talking about game of the year soon.
And I got to figure out what I need to try to cram in.
Tales of Arise. That is on my hit list.
Yeah, I got to look at the list. I feel like there's definitely a couple games I missed. I bought Ratchet and Clank. I never touched it. So
let's do a little preview. Where do you think you could go with that?
With what?
Game of the year.
I mean, I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone who follows the channel, but it'll probably be Endwalker, to be honest, unless it's just awful, which I really doubt.
You're just spoiling it. It's probably going to be Endwalker.
It probably is.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I have no doubt in my mind you're going to be picking that for Game of the Year, but let's keep it a little more suspenseful.
Yeah, like I said, unless it's just not, maybe they don't wrap up the story in a way I like, then maybe it won't be my top one. But I do suspect they'll do a good job. So, I don't know what else came out this year that I've played, so it's really hard for me to even have this discussion.
It's interesting because a lot of games came out this year, and I played a lot of those games, but not a whole lot of impactful games came out this year, and all the games that I was waiting for are just coming out now or got delayed to 2022, which is going to make 2022 the fucking crazy year. But yeah, it's going to be a little rough. There's one year, it's the year Deus Ex Mankind Divided came out. There wasn't a whole lot of competition for me in that year. But that was my game of the year because I really liked it a lot.
Right.
But I feel like in a year where God of War would have came out, it wouldn't have even stacked up. I feel like this year is going to be kind of like that.
Probably. I think next year will be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I also think, speaking of God of War, doesn't God of War come out next year?
Everything comes out next year.
So.
Anything that's anticipated that's coming, that's not long-term, rumored Grand Theft Auto 6, is coming out next year.
Yeah. Man. I know a lot of it is pushbacks because obviously, development was rough for a while there. But now that most of that's all figured out, we're going to start getting games again. Probably at a speed that I can't keep up with, but do my best.
I already feel like I'm having problems keeping up with games this year, and there's no huge titles, but it does seem like every week to 2 weeks something comes out that I got to play.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar problem with the not being able to keep up thing, but I also blame that on playing endless games too often. So
yeah, when we talk about what we've been playing, that's pretty much all I've been playing lately is games that you can just keep playing. So you're not pinpointed on what game of the year possibly you might pick outside of the one that seems obvious, but outside of that, anything that you're aiming to try and get into to potentially see if it could stack up into your top three. Like you mentioned Ratchet and Clank, you own it, you haven't played it.
Yeah, I need to play it.
Is that something you feel like you'll be able to or
I
want
don't
to
know
play
if
this
that-
year?
I mean, probably not, to be honest.
That's fair.
Well, I'm just realistically thinking about how much time I have, and I don't think I have time for too many games. I might be able to fit like one or two in at this point, I feel. So,
Yeah, it does feel like it's coming down the wire. For me, I played a bunch of games this year, of course, and the only one that really like speaks to me when I think of game of the year, and this is a weird one for me, is Resident Evil Village. It's one of the first games in years that I finished and felt like I needed to play it again. It's like, I got to play that again. I fucking like that so much. I need to fucking play it. No other game this year did that to me. So that will probably make it into my top three, if I'm being honest, unless something else comes out. But I do need to make a priority to play Tales of Arise. It's one of my most hyped games of this year. I have not played it yet because when it came out, other games also came out. And I kept prioritizing all these games I felt were going to be shorter games to play and beat, and then I could put my time into it. I'm running out of time, though, so I'm going to buy it. I'm going to sit down and just try and knock it the fuck out because I feel like it may have the potential of being like a game of the year runner-up for sure. Outside of that, I've played a lot of smaller games like Alien Fireteam Elite. A lot of games like that this year that are all a lot of fun. Don't think they'll be making my top three. Back for Blood. Battlefield's coming out soon. I don't know if that's going to make it in my top three. I thought it maybe might, but I've played the beta and now I'm not so sure. Dying Light 2 didn't come out this year. That was another game I was kind of hoping might make my top three, but that's disqualified now. So I'm also needing to look at a list of games released in 2021.
so you were able to name off way more than I could. I don't even know what came out this year.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it's rough. I tell people Resident Evil Village when I start talking about this subject, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that did come out." This year, when it comes to games, feels so long. Even though this year feels like it fucking flew by for me, like physically. The games, like so many things came out this year, and it's kind of hard to. I mean, Returnal came out this year. Fucking, we got like PS5 exclusives. Ratchet and Clank. I mean, I can't even think of all the games came out, but no real big bangers, which is really kind of not that great considering new consoles just dropped.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, Far Cry 6 also came out. That's not making my top three. That was another game I was hoping possibly to make my top three. It's rough, but yeah. Originally, I asked you how you doing, though. You said you're good. Anything to report before we jump into what we're playing? I got something to report real quick. A little off topic as well. We're doing things a little different today on Tasty Cast. I went and saw a movie, and I just want to give a shout out real quick. I went and saw Dune on IMAX. And long story short, I probably could do a full review on this. Maybe I should do that as my first Tasty Flicks thing. But just want to say, Denis Villeneuve knocked it out of the fucking park again with this movie. Dune is a fucking fantastic movie that I highly recommend you see in theaters if you feel safe enough to do that, feel comfortable enough doing that, or if you can get to a theater, definitely see it in theaters. It is incredible. I loved it to death. I loved every second of it. But it's also on HBO Max if you'd like to watch it. In the privacy of your own home. Although this movie and its scope and scale is so fucking massive that the big IMAX screen really felt right watching it, and the sound and everything. But yeah, the movie's great. It does the story justice. All the performances are amazing. The visual style is fucking awesome. The action is dope. Hans Zimmer's score is fucking phenomenal. And again, Denis Villeneuve, one of the best, if not the best directors working today. Go see Dune. Let's get a sequel because I need the movie without no spoilers. But the movie ends as a part one abruptly. You guys probably already seen it or you heard that already. But I'd like that sequel. So let's support this movie. Let's get that fucking sequel. Let's give Denis Villeneuve his fucking do justice on his amazing career that is so underappreciated. Blade Runner fucking flopped, and it was so good, so fucking good. Sicario, Arrival, goddamn Prisoners, such a good director. Anyway, I could talk about Dune for days. So go check it out, definitely, and see it in theaters if you can. Yeah. A quick thing on that too. I was watching a thing talking about box office charts, stuff like that. I guess IMAX was 50% of the total revenue for Dune. So 50% of the money it's made so far was from IMAX alone. So apparently people are like, I'm gonna go see this on the fucking big screen. So that's really cool. All right, well, it's Tastecast. We typically start with what we've been playing. Today we kind of talked about a bunch of other shit. So let's talk about what we've been playing. Chevy, you can start us off this time.
All right. I'll do the easy ones first. I played Minecraft. I've been inspired, grabbed some the newer materials that I didn't have, made places for them to be replenished if they are capable of such. If not, I just put them in a box somewhere for now. Been playing Dragon Quest 11. I'm bringing this up now just because it's not a game you can really talk about without spoiling it. So, to update to those of you who have played it, I just finished the third quest of 3 quests to make a weapon. So I'll keep it at that. Section 3 of the game.
How many hours are you in? What are you feeling? Are you enjoying the game? Are you excited to finish it? Is it your favorite JRPG?
The latter is no. It is a fun JRPG for sure. It is very traditional, which is totally fine because there's actually not a lot of those anymore.
I loved that. It felt so old school, but not in a way that felt like gameplay sucked.
It does have that Dragon Quest pacing, which is where levels start getting really slow and long, though better than previous Dragon Quest titles. Dragon Quest 8 was the last one I had played, and that one was kind of brutal in its leveling. So
yeah, I never played that one. Back then, I remember you owned it. I was like, fuck
I had
that.
voice acting, and that was like PS2.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Game is really good. The little bit I played was really good. I would like to go back and play it at this point because I feel like I have a better ability to sit there and read things than I used to. So, yeah, I mean, it's like checklist of like side content. There's 45 side quests in the game, I think, that have nothing to do with the main story, and I have 37 of them done now.
You gonna do them all?
Yeah, at this point, I might as well.
Might as well, yeah. I'll say I'd be almost pissed if you didn't do them because you're that far. I don't even remember how many side quests I did, but I was like, that was the game I was like actually savoring the flavor. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, and the game kind of freaks me out a little bit just because they don't make games this long anymore, except for the other example I think of is Persona 5 being a huge game. But I'm 80 hours in, and I asked you how long it took you, and you said over 100 hours.
Yeah, I had like 127 hours when I was done with it.
Obviously not speedrunning, just playing the game.
Yeah, you can beat it faster. You can beat it under 100 hours easy. I think you can beat it in 60 hours or something.
But I like a day or two ago was listening to something and someone had brought up that their friend was playing Dragon Quest 11 and they had put 200 hours into it. I was like, holy crap, how is there that much game there? So it's a very big game. So yeah, if you're a completionist, that's a tough one to knock out.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it. I plan on finishing it. Excitement, maybe not so much, but I am enjoying myself. So, I think I'd be more excited. The story is good. Don't get me wrong. I have zero complaints about it. But I don't think it's like revolutionary.
I didn't feel that either, but I think it has more story than I was expecting, but it's not anything super heavy.
I mean, it can.
Yeah, but it's not something that like resonates with me the same as like some other stories and games have. But it's more than serviceable too. It's not Ni no Kuni 2. It's not.
Well, it doesn't
have a story. Yeah. But
it does. But
we've had people correct us before that. I'm like, no, I know. It's not good at telling that story. It doesn't even try.
Super minimal.
Yeah. But yeah. I thought the story was good. I just really loved the world, the characters, and the adventure of it.
100%, and you definitely feel like you are on an adventure, and you definitely it does a good job of being that story of hero saves the world, and not flawlessly. You're not invincible. The game gives you a couple like moments where it's like, hey, you're also vulnerable. Obviously, it'd be a terrible story if it just ended with you losing. So you do continue on, obviously, but it does a good job in it. I think this may not be something everyone agrees with, but like not every story has to be like revolutionary and brand new. It just has to be told in an interesting way. I think another example that would be like the Avatar movie, not the Last Airbender, but the one that takes place on Pandora. So again, it's a tried and true story, and no serviceable for the what they were doing. So I feel like Dragon Quest XI is like that, where it has like that serviceable story. They do throw in some moments there that are a little surprising, not like blowing my mind, but like it gets kind of dark sometimes. I'm like, oh, interesting that they went that far. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we talked about this last time too, but that's something I've just kind of noticed with Dragon Quest in general, is that they're not afraid to go like dark, which seems weird with Akira Toriyama's art style and the music of Dragon Quest. It's very
the
like,
derpiest looking dragons you'll ever see in a game.
yeah, 100%, 100%. A lot of things are derpy looking in that fucking game.
Yeah,
But yeah, then when people die, or a bunch of people die and shit, you're just like, whoa.
yeah,
I know we could go here, but they've done it multiple times.
for sure, for sure. I think the game only surprised me once with the storytelling, and good on it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I would totally recommend, if you're a fan of traditional JRPGs, there's no reason you shouldn't have
It's a
played this
must play,
game.
dude.
Yeah.
I fucking would like easily, if I had like a top 5, JRPGs for you to play right fucking now, if you're looking for ones to play, it would probably be on there.
Yeah, it's really good for sure. So moving along, I attempted to play Red Dead Online.
Oh yeah.
If you weren't here for the last episode, my graphics card is on its way back now, but got melted thanks to New World Round 2.
New world, new card, dude.
So I went to play RDO on my backup card, which is a 960, and apparently that game is not designed to run on 960 at all. So I tried change the resolution, and the game literally told me like, you don't have the resources for this. I was like, awesome. So it was pretty much unplayable for me. So I can't really go into much on that one. So I will update you guys next weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want you to really talk about it,
Yeah,
because the way you played it was like not.
it's not what you shouldn't play any game that way. So.
No, yeah, it's not like the intended way that game should. That game specifically shouldn't be played, but any game.
I mean, like for context,
That's like if you're on a fucking laptop and that's the only way you could play it.
yeah,
It would make sense, but yeah.
yeah. For context, I game on a 21.9 monitor, and the window was, I don't know, a fourth of my available screen real estate that I was allowed to play it in, so it's pretty small. And then graphics all the way down. It's not, it wasn't pleasant. So, and then I was having USB. Anyways, it was a thing. So
You just weren't able to play the game.
Yeah.
In like an optimal, I can sit here and enjoy this game way.
yeah, exactly. Played. I can't talk about him obviously. Golf and
Check them off, dude. Check them off.
what's that war game?
This weekend, Plus Club and Game of the Month come back to talk about the games that we played.
What's your name?
PGA?
Not that one. The war
Hell Let Loose.
Hell Loose. Yeah, I'm never gonna remember that name. And last thing I played, I took a gamble and bought a game called Dungeon Encounters. Just came out. It is a passion project by the guy. I can't remember his name right now, so I apologize for that. But he either still works or used to work for Square Enix and designed the ATB battle system for their games in the past. That being said, you can tell the guy makes mechanical systems because the game has
Oh, I remember. Yeah, yeah. That game.
virtually no art assets and zero storytelling, like none. You literally, it's the premise is start on floor one, make it to floor 100. Now, with the semi, like I guess, subjectively negative the parts of the game, I don't mind it so much, and I will get to that when I'm done talking about the game. But mechanically, the game has a lot, and I find that very enjoyable. There's a lot of like little systems and strategies that come into play, especially the deeper in the dungeon you get. And for 100 floors, I played for about 5.5 hours, made to floor 11. So it's not a fast journey at all. The game will throw enemies at you that will do something that you weren't exposed to yet, and it doesn't warn you about it. You're just, it's going to happen. Your characters can die. You can find resurrection points, but you can't like actively resurrect people. Yeah. It'll have like abilities where like you can like teleport one floor up or one floor down, but there has to be like a physical tile in that space for you to go to. Otherwise, the spell doesn't work. There is healing, but it is very limited because they don't really want you using it. So it's definitely meant to be a strategic game.
Is it finalized?
It's done. That's the
Okay.
game. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is a $30 game. I think on Steam right now it's $23.99 for the first week it's out or whatever. So if it sounds remotely interesting to you if you're into like gameplay of games. I would highly recommend it in that regard because it does really kind of like let you think and toy around system wise. But if you need visuals and you need story, don't touch it. Game is completely bland looking, and by bland I mean like borderline a text game, like reading. You're like there's no visual stuff. Like it's a UI and that's it.
Well, yeah, what I saw you doing, you had like a character model on on paths
That is the only one in the game.
that had like square sections of the paths, like literal. It's just like straight this way and that
Like a
way,
board game.
and then it's like yeah, exactly, look like shoots and ladders or fucking something or some. I can't think of any fucking games, but yeah, that and then you I think got into combat and it just showed character faces and their stats.
Nameplates.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was it. I was expecting more and that
That's
was
the
it.
game.
And
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, a lot of people aren't going to play that. But then I also thought, like, well, there's fucking whole ass strategy games out there where
Yeah.
people just look at menus.
Well, and to add on to it being very like you can tell the guy's mechanically minded and not like artistically minded.
Yeah.
Enemy encounters are codes on the floor. So you'll go over a tile and it'll be like F3. And that could be and you there's a monster encyclopedia and you'll learn slowly what F3 can spawn in it. And then like so it's not even random encounters. There tiles. The store or descending a floor is 0-1 and going up a floor is 0-2. Like every time that code, that's what that means. So it's not even a picture of stairs.
I wonder if he was just like working on a project to like test some shit out, and then he's like, I could just like release this.
Yeah, I don't know because like it does use ATB's system, and then its combat system is a physical and magic system. So you have physical defense and magical defense, physical attacks, magical attacks, and you have to break those shields, which refresh at the beginning of combat, to touch hit points. Hit points do not refresh unless you have certain healing stations or that ability is very limited. So. Yeah, it's really hard to explain. Totally watch a review, but I don't think it's gonna be for everyone at all.
I don't think it's going to be for a lot of people.
But I really enjoy it. So,
Yeah. What's it called again?
Dungeon Explorers, if I'm not mistaken, I could have, and I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Pretty bare bones name and visual style, but
It's all systems.
yeah, if you're into that kind of thing,
Yeah.
it might be heaven for you.
Yeah, I would equate it. You said strategy game, and I think that's a really good like category to put it in. It is
Sure.
technically a JRPG, but it is. Yeah, I do think people who enjoy strategy games might appreciate it more than people who like role playing games.
No, there's people out there that if they're into what he's doing with that, they won't mind that there's no visual style to it really outside of like, nameplates because back when I used to play Civ a lot, I'd have friends that like played like strategy games that they thought Civ was stupid. They're like, oh, that's too simplistic. And then I watch them play a game, and they're looking at like what looked like a fucking map from when I was in grade school, and there's nothing moving on it. And then you click on things, and it might show like a character face, but then there's like all these menus, and they're doing like trade and stuff. And I'm like, I can appreciate the complexity of this, and that someone made this is wild because they had to make all these systems. But visually, this ain't doing shit for a lot of people, including me, which I'm pretty open to a lot of stuff. But I was like, I don't know if I could do this. But if I got really into the systems and understood how the game worked better, if I invested the time to learn it, I could probably overlook that because it's about the game, the gameplay, not the visuals. But, you know, smaller teams, they probably prioritize just making the idea before representing it in a way that like Civ has the budget to.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know the whole story, but you know, if he did make the whole thing by himself, it would make sense that it doesn't have any assets really. Like they're all bare bone because they'd be really simple to make. Versus if he was making a game with a team, someone would have made our assets. You know, so yeah, that's what I've been playing. Throw through as much detail into that as I could, just because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, Chevy recommended it," and then it's like just way too like systematic. So
You've been warned.
Yeah,
You've been warned.
Watch some reviews, see gameplay. So if you like deep system, or I don't even want to say deep, but if you like systematic games where like, you know, everything is definitely like about the way the game plays and not so much about the way it looks, and that's exactly it. You could paint an RPG on top of it, and it would probably feel like a completely different game, even though it's the same thing. So
yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, my list is very short. So finally got around to putting some time into Hell Let Loose on PS5. So I will be talking about that this weekend for Plus Club. Come back to have that conversation, and on Reddit as well. I put some time into PGA Tour 2K21. Didn't have a lot of time, but luckily that game you can get a full whatever the fuck it is in pretty easily.
Round of golf.
Yeah. We also played that multiplayer, so I definitely have a lot to say about that experience.
I think that's probably going to be the biggest talking point. So.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say anything. So come back at the end of this weekend for Plus Club. Definitely have something to say about that game. And then I was about to start talking about this game, but I realized it's our game of the month. Grand Theft Auto Online, which is our game of the month. You guys picked it. I've been playing that on PC, but I also hopped onto my PlayStation account. I had like $5 million. So I bought an oppressor, Mark II or the fuck it is. So if you play Grand Theft Auto Online, you know what that thing is. That thing's wild. Keep it there. I got to talk about that at the end of the week for game of the month. But I need to this week at some point get my fucking console people to play that because I want to fuck around with that oppressor. And then yeah, the only game I can really talk about, the only game I've really been playing for last week is Red Dead Online. I picked that up on PC. I've played it quite a bit on PlayStation. Played it quite a bit on there. I mean, I think I'm on like level 29 or something, like rank fucking like 12 or 15 in Bounty Hunter or whatever. So that's pretty much all I've done on PlayStation. But I've accrued quite a bit of gold and money, all that stuff. So it was kind of a weird thing to start over again on PC. Luckily, they have the just Red Dead Online game. You don't have to get the whole game because as much as I enjoyed the single player and love the way it looks on PC, I can't see myself ever playing through the story again. It's a long one. The whole center is just Dutch going, I had a plan for like 25 hours. And so I can't do that again. So I was able to buy the online component, which I think is awesome to be able to do. Bought that, started from the fucking beginning again. That was rough. I'm now level 22 or 23, so I'm catching up to my other character. I've just been beelining it, trying to level. Playing Bounty Hunter again quite a bit. I think I'm like 10 or 11 on that. So I just got my bounty wagon. I tried it on a mission, the first mission, and I drove off a cliff that was like 2 feet tall, and it detached the wagon from my horse. And I had people in the back. They all got out the back and started running, so I had to go chasing after them. That was fucking annoying. And yeah, it's really interesting playing Red Dead online, and I can't talk about the other game Rockstar made because we got to talk about that this weekend. But it's really interesting to have played both those quite a bit on console and play them also on PC recently because they are similar but pretty different. You can obviously free aim on a controller on console, but the game defaults to this snap targeting where most people will just snap, flick the right stick up for a split second, get the timing down where you can get a headshot and drop heal quickly. And on PC, you're just using a mouse and keyboard. Now, typically that's like preferable, and it still is. But I had to get used to I can't just snap and shoot someone in the head instantly. I had to like aim to shoot people in the head instantly, and that took a little bit of training, which again is really weird because I'm no stranger to mouse and keyboard when it comes to shooters. But in Rockstar games, you have a little white dot, and that's how you aim.
It's easy to lose.
Yeah, and so I had to get used to that. I had to get used to just playing with mouse and keyboard. It's a very different experience. Riding a horse is better on controller, like by far.
I could imagine.
But I've gotten used to mouse and keyboard, but I still feel like I don't have full control of my horse like I do on controller. I ride pretty like safe, and I just kind of go in straight lines and do very I do movements that people can read easy. Whereas like with a controller, I was able to like whip my horse around, do spins and all sorts of stuff really easily, and it doesn't feel the same on mouse and keyboard. It's really interesting to have that perspective because like some of the only games I really think I prefer on a controller outside of mouse and keyboard is like racing games and not shooters. So to play this and be like, I almost prefer this game on a controller, and I guess I could just play it on controller, but when you get the mouse and keyboard down, it is nice to have a mouse and be able to not be locking onto things in combat. That aside, I've been really enjoying playing it. I've played it, like I said before, quite a bit, so I'm already a fan. But man, the performance on PC is so much better than PS5. I'm not locked into like 30 frames per second. My graphics are really crispy looking, even though two consoles credit, that game has this softness to the visual style on console that makes it look really fucking good. Rockstar really made that game for console, and then they ported it to PC and upped the graphics because my game looks a lot sharper and graphically better, but the edges are a lot sharper, and it looks more gamey, I guess. Whereas on console, it has this like softness to it that makes it look really picturesque. I don't know. It's interesting. But the performance is fucking huge. I went back and played it on my PS5, and it's essentially playing a PS4 game to PS4's limitations on the PS5. Load times are better, but like it's still running at like 30 frames per second, and like it does not feel good. You need that lock on. You don't need. Well, I know people who don't use it, but it's easier that way with that almost what feels like lag. On PC, it's like so fucking buttery smooth. It's so nice. That's another thing too. Hunting, and I prefer it. I prefer actually having to look for the animal and aim. But like on console, if you have the lock on thing, you can just like aim at a bush and lock on it, and just lock onto something to the bush. You can shoot it. So I feel a little more involved in the gameplay on PC.
Less automated.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been really enjoying playing RDO again. It's weird. I'm in this weird lull, gaming wise, where no game's pulling me to it. So I'm kind of putting my time into these games that you can just play forever. And I feel like I'm wasting my time, except for I'm having fun. So I'm not wasting my time. But I do feel like my time as like the ability to invest into a game that I might get something deeper out of is not being used.
Less efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I need to play Tales of Arise. I'm not playing it.
I would say that's my big thing with like Minecraft, though. Obviously that end is me just putting it down because it's just a sandbox creative game. But I have this strong desire to be playing that right now, and like it's not really doing me any good for the stuff I need to actually play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel it. But it's just so easy to play. I'm leveling, I'm getting stuff. The gameplay's fun. It's got a lot of mundane activities I can do if I don't feel like going to shoot and shit. The only problem is with PC, you always hear the argument, and it's true, but not as much as people make out. Typically, if there's a game on PC and console, people on console be like, "Oh, PC is full of hackers," though. Probably like by like a small percentage, it might be. But RDO is definitely fucking full of hackers on PC. It is crazy. Like, I feel like for every 5 sessions I join, one of them will have hackers in it. Luckily, there's a trick on console. You can do it through the poker table, but on PC, it's a lot easier. Look it up if you're interested, where you can separate yourself without loading into a new session from the session you're in. You have to error out your gameplay or your connection through Windows, and it will go error happen, put you into a session by yourself. And so whenever I run into hackers, I just do that real quick because I'm like, I'm not fucking around with hackers. So you're not gonna ruin my time in this game.
yeah,
But yeah, I've ran into a dude who couldn't die. He was running around. He had a wanted thing on him. I was like, oh, I'm going to go shoot this guy. I ran up there. There's like 2 other people trying to kill him. He was just killing them. I had a shotgun, blasted him in the back 5 times. And then he came running at me. He had full health, killed me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You don't die. And I was like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. And then 3 times now, I've just started exploding nonstop. The first time it happened, though, I was just in the woods and I blew up. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? I mean, it's a Rockstar game, so something crazy could happen. But I kept blowing up and I kept blowing up, but I wasn't taking damage. Eventually, I got lifted off the air, came back down, hit the ground, and the impact killed me. When I respawned, and it said I killed myself. When I respawned, I was still blowing up. At the same time, Sarah was also blowing up, flying all over the place. And then I looked on the right side of the screen and it was just saying this dude was killing people over and over again. I'm like, oh, okay, we got a hacker. Fucking cool. And that one, like I said, I've seen 3 times now. So that must be a really popular hack right now. I'm sure Rockstar, I hope, will take care of that hack. But with any game online, when you take some hacks away, new ones show up. So that's fun. But luckily, I know a way to get out of that quickly without having to load into a whole new session. It's still stupid. It's still annoying. And for anybody who doesn't know how to do that, I'm sure it's very frustrating because it does ruin the game and it does make it so people don't want to fucking play the game. I know what happened to me. I was like, there's one night I was like kind of tired. I was getting ready to wind down. Then I ran into a hacker and I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go to sleep. That just kind of ruins the mood. So that sucks. If you're a hacker, hacking in any game, but in RDO, stop doing it. Stop being a piece of shit. Get a hobby. Just play it like normal. Go play something you actually enjoy so you don't have to do that stuff. I get some people are like, oh, they just want to win. No. They just enjoy that they can do something you can't. It's an ego thing. So just find a better way to spend your time. Hacking's fucking, unless you're the guy making the hacks, even then don't do it. But it's so fucking dumb. It's mostly kids that do it too, but whatever. It just kind of ruins the game, the online experience. So, yeah. Got 2 horses, got my bounty wagon, got a shotgun, got a bow, got some pistols, got some rifles, and I've been working on Bounty Hunter and Trader, which I didn't do a whole lot of on PlayStation, where you essentially have to bring full carcasses unskinned to the trader, and you accrue experience through the trader from that, but then every once in a while your trading gets halted because you have to get, it's like a supply line issue and you have to go do missions to reopen that. You have to bring supplies back. So, but they're all randomized, so it's kind of cool. It kind of changes things up a bit, which is great because like I love hunting in that game. I think hunting and fishing is really fun in RDO. So I don't mind doing the missions that involve hunting and gathering. So, but yeah, if you're thinking about playing RDO on PC, just know hackers are they're around. You're gonna run into them. So outside of that, really fun. So check it out if you're curious. And that's all I've been playing. I've only been playing RDO. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah. So let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What have you been enjoying? What have you not been enjoying? Is there anything you would recommend us play soon? And anything you're looking forward to in the near future, or maybe the far, far future? Maybe games that haven't even been announced yet. You're like, dude, I'm dreaming of this game. Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. It's the shortest we've been playing in a while. And it's 40 minutes. Okay, so we got some videos to watch, and I already mentioned them in the intro, but we're going to go over it again real quick in case you forgot. We're going to be covering Concerned Apes Haunted Chocolatier early gameplay. This is the new game being made by the guy who made Stardew Valley. You've watched it. I have not. And then we got Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition trailer, showing kind of before and afters of the graphical difference in what they're bringing to this trilogy, which is Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Legendary games. And then we will be finishing off with Halo Infinite official campaign overview, which just came out. So this is a brand new video, in which I'm very excited to see some campaign stuff, because we saw Craig, and that's pretty much all we've gotten from the campaign so far.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's start with Concerned Apes Haunted Chocolatier. I think that's how you say it. Early gameplay. What are we thinking about this before we watch this? You like Stardew Valley?
Yeah, I've seen it, so I have to kind of be careful how I word this, because obviously I would like for you to be able to react to it.
I'm gonna fucking really react to it.
Yeah, I mean, like many people, the guy sold a crap ton of copies of Stardew Valley, fell in love with his last game. You could tell there was a lot of passion in it when he made it. He was making something that he could not find, and so he made it. And
And the amount of, I don't want to say copycats, but the amount of games that came out like his game was crazy. So obviously he was onto something. I mean, obviously he was inspired by like Harvest Moon and stuff like that, but
100%.
He made something different too. And so a lot of people went like, I want to do something like that too. And there's a lot of games that came out that were pretty inspired by that kind of game. So definitely not only welcome, but needed almost.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's finished Stardew Valley yet, but he still develops stuff for it. So
Really?
yeah, that might be. I
assume
that's going to be coming to a halt soon. But
he's got a whole ass game coming out.
yeah. So having seen on Twitter when he was getting ready to live stream this announcement, because it was just a black screen that basically said announcement.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see that he was making something new. So
Yeah. I like Stardew Valley. I don't love it, but I really appreciate it. I've played it multiple times on and off, but never devoted like a huge chunk of time to it. But I really appreciate it. And like I said before, I think kind of like when Demon Souls came out, because games are too easy, it felt needed when this game came out, Stardew Valley. So I really appreciate this dude, especially when he put like 10 years into making Stardew Valley by himself. Really awesome. So it's kind of exciting to see a dude who made a game for 10 years by himself, huge passion project, make a new game. He's obviously got 10 years of experience at the very least now in game development. He's definitely got a bigger budget than he had before, and probably has connections if he needed help working on it. I don't know if he's working on this by himself. I would assume so, but
I believe so, because he did do Stardew Valley temporarily for console help with Chucklefish, and then he pulled away from that after a while. So he could go back to being solo again.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, no bad blood or anything. The help was done. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad they didn't have any word contract where like he's allowed to be done. Like that's good. because the idea of like having someone help you, typically they want something from it.
Yeah, I think he was probably pretty clear that it was his game.
Yeah, that's how I would do
Yeah.
it. If someone's like, I want a piece, I'm like, no.
But I think he just needed help
Never do
getting
that.
published on consoles.
Yeah.
And Chucklefish was like, we're a publisher.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
So yeah, I'm really interested in seeing more on this game. I've seen a little blip of it on Twitter, and the art style looks very similar, if not the exact same as Stardew Valley. Which at first I was like, man, he's kind of one note in that regard. But then I was like, nah, I mean, he's got a style. Why not? So
it kind of reminds me of I can't remember the guy's name right now, and the fans are probably gonna be pissed that I can't remember his name. But the guy who made oh no, my brain. Undertale. That guy's art style is super.
yeah,
Because he's got Deltarune just came out, and it literally same art style. So
I kind of appreciate though when somebody also designs the visual style of their game and isn't just the creative director or the mind where the game's idea came from.
Yeah.
Because in like bigger dev teams, there's a lot of layers.
Yeah.
There's an art team. There's all sorts of shit. And so
Hundreds
when you're like the dude who's like making the game and the way it works and the mechanics and the engine and all that stuff, but then also designing it, it does make sense that another game, similar to how when somebody draws, they typically have a style to how they draw, unless they go out of their way to not have that. It makes sense that he'll have a visual style. And I'm sure eventually down the road he'll probably have a game that will not look like this, but as of right now, he's definitely showing that he has a style to his games, which I think is cool. I was quick to go like, wow, did he just reskin it? But no, it's probably just his style, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, hoping I can't talk tonight. That it's different gameplay wise than Stardew Valley. I have a feeling it will be, but yeah, wondering how different it will be from that. Ready to watch this?
yeah, I can't say anything. So yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Chocolate. I like how the name is just his name and then Haunted Chocolatier. It's pretty straightforward. The reflection in the mirror is a good touch. I know that in Stardew Valley there was like some places where you could fight stuff, but this seems a lot more actiony.
It looks pretty spot on to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I just wasn't down. I couldn't play it that well because that guy was like running around shooting and shit and swinging. Oh my god, all the ghosts. So he is haunted. I mean, this looks like Stardew Valley, but different place. I feel like if you're a big fan of Stardew Valley, you're gonna have to play this.
I'm going to agree with that statement because
Like, if you want more from that, this looks tonally completely different.
well, and obviously the focus is a little different. You're not running a farm.
Yeah, you're running a fucking haunted chocolate factory.
Well, it also adds the element of shop management.
Yeah,
which I
thought
like.
was cool.
I have a couple games on Steam that are literally just that, running a shop. Like, I think Racketeer is the name of one of them that's really popular. And yeah, I like to hop in. I guess my impression.
Yeah, what do you think?
Like, I think it looks great. I like the guy's art style. It is familiar and different, which is kind of
That's
nice.
what I got from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely you can tell that it's gonna play like Stardew Valley, but your objectives are gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
like making the chocolate, selling it. Also, like the imagination of like in the factories, there's just effectively look like a portal to another dimension. If that is what it is, I don't know. It's just the
Yeah.
vibe I get off of it. Yeah, the combat in Stardew Valley is like pretty much in the mine shaft versus this is
Yeah.
outside, which is kind of nice. And it's collecting ingredients obviously to make these chocolates and whatnot. The little ghosts that run your shop, the customization of your shop. These are very cool features, I think. But obviously, you're not customizing a farm, so those ideas are put somewhere else at this point. So, yeah, like I said, super familiar, but I think it's different enough to make it that I think it will feel different. It still has the stuff I like you would expect from the slow living games, though, like building relationships with people, gift giving. I'm sure the map expands the further you get into it and stuff like that too. So,
Yeah, all the social stuff and the concept of running something and needing resources to do that is very similar to Stardew Valley, but I think thematically it's different looking. It also expects doing some more advanced stuff with some of the atmospheric stuff like that train or whatever the hell going
yeah,
by.
yeah, yeah.
Also, when he walked by the mirror, it like had a reflection, and one of the fireplaces, I thought the fire actually looked really good.
Yeah.
Maybe Stardew Valley has that as well, but I don't
I
remember
don't
it.
recall
I don't
any of
remember
that.
like
Yeah.
those. It seems like he's learned some things maybe with that, but even with all the similarities, it does seem different in the sense that you're not running the farm, you're running a factory, and you are going to have to. It seems like micromanage things and do recipes, and I'm really interested on what the ghosts are all about. But I love them, so I'm all about it. Also, this fucking place he's in is creepy as shit. I'm also curious about this whole portal system and where the hell he's going. That's kind of weird. If I'm being 100% honest, I think me personally is more drawn to this concept than Stardew Valley. As much as I appreciate Stardew Valley, I like weird shit. And so like this whole like chocolate ghost place sounds a lot more interesting to me. I also like the idea of running a shop more than running a farm. Running a farm in a game is fun. I like all the little activities you have to do to maintain everything, but I do like the idea of running like a factory shop type thing more. On a much more basic level,
Moonlighter.
Moonlighter, I
Yeah.
thought was a really cool roguelite because it had this whole basic running a shop thing.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool pacing of gameplay. And you have the action and the roguelike, and then you have this shop manager thing where you had to like stop people from shoplifting and all sorts of stuff.
You should try Racketeer. It's got a similar idea to it. So
Maybe I should
you go collect stuff and then bring it to your shop.
because I actually really liked that part of Moonlighter. And so with this, kind of the same thing. It looks like Stardew Valley, but with the Moonlighter running a shop element
Yeah.
to it, which I like for some reason. So I like kind of the micromanaging of that. So yeah, this looks really cool. It feels also like being at home though, because it's very similar to Stardew Valley visually and mechanically. You still are having these social features where you're talking with people, building relationships, stuff like that. But yeah, just the whole what you're doing is different.
Yeah, and the thing I kind of like about it too is he could have very easily just made Stardew Valley 2
Yeah.
and just rode that train or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
for sure.
But he still is staying within that comfort zone of,
Yep.
obviously the type of game he wants to make. But he is being experimental, and he's able to do that because it has a different title. It's not Stardew Valley. It's this game. And if he wants to do it another time after this, whether that's 5, 10 years from now, whatever, he can have another idea with still that slow living element
Yeah.
involved in it. So I actually kind of think it's a better approach than just making sequels.
No, I 100% agree because like I thought he was gonna work on Stardew Valley the rest of his life and fucking die
Which would have been totally fine.
when
Yeah.
it could be uploaded into Stardew Valley forever. So it was really cool to see that I mean he's putting his name in there. It kind of reminds me of fucking PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but at the same time, like it just seems like he had an idea for a new project, and even when we went to his website to kind of read about this game before we started filming, and the way he describes this is pretty much like I don't know, I had an idea,
Yeah.
I started working on it, so I kind of appreciate that. I mean, he's earned it at this point with what he did with Stardew Valley. Fucking make whatever the hell you want, try something out, and like you already said, and like we're kind of repeating at this point, but he did something kind of in his comfort zone, but he has this whole haunted chocolate fucking element that he wanted to fuck around with, and I'm intrigued.
Plus a lot more development experience now.
That's the thing, is this game looks pretty far along already.
Yeah.
And I highly doubt it's not going to take him 10 years now.
Yeah.
He's got it down. He's making content for a game he worked on for 10 years already. And I'm sure if he needed help in any way, somebody would be right there to help him in his next endeavor that's 100% going to sell very well.
Yeah.
This game's going to sell well. Based off of who made it and Stardew Valley's reputation, it sold very well as well. Big question. Multiplayer? Think it's going to have multiplayer?
If it's anything like Stardew Valley, it'll come later, I think.
Yeah. Because Stardew Valley doesn't need multiplayer, but it does have it. And I finally understood when I played the multiplayer why it took them so long to make it. Because the story stuff that happens still happens in the multiplayer. And that's a lot harder than just having somebody with you while you play.
Yeah, if it was like a sandbox thing, it would probably have been easier. So.
And I feel like this is going to be the same thing in that if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, this will happen. Events will happen and shit. And so if they're going to implement multiplayer, if he's going to implement multiplayer, it's probably going to be a task. He probably needs to get the game finished before he can even think about that. But I feel like he'd probably be more open to doing it because he's done it already.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's already got those connections because I think that was part of the thing with Chucklefish as well, was they were helping him figure out multiplayer.
Yeah.
So
hopefully the kinks of that, because it looks like he's using the same engine, would be figured out. So, but overall, I'm definitely interested. I'd like to see more on this, but I feel like I kind of know what I'm getting into outside of the thematic things going on with the ghosts and the chocolate and these weird locations.
Well, and any quirky systems he might have in there.
Yeah, so. And the events, I don't know what's going to happen. It's a whole new game, so. Yeah. But I'm interested in it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to end up buying it, but.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love slow living games.
Yeah, very cool though. Anything else you want to say?
No, I was a pleasant surprise because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had no idea, and then I just saw that. I'm like, oh, he's got a new game.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
very cool.
No build up to it. He's just like, oh, here, by the way. So, very cool. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about Concerned Apes Haunted Chocolatier? Do you think it's cool looking? Do you think it's shit looking? Are you excited? Are you a fan of Stardew Valley? A lot of people I know love that game. So,
game's awesome.
Which is very cool to see, because before that game, I know a whole lot of people were into like Harvest Moon. So, it definitely brought a lot of people to the genre, I guess, that I feel like has more impact on it than games before it did. You're looking forward to this game. Do you think it's going to be a multiplayer? And anything you noticed in the trailer that we didn't, let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Next video we got is Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the definitive edition trailer. Now, they are releasing, for a long time, they had leaked and had all these rumors coming out that they were going to be remastering Grand Theft Auto, and then there was a really definitive one that came out, and then a week later, this thing comes out. We are getting the Trilogy, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, all remastered, all in one package. This is going to show a comparison of the before and afters before we watch this. Any thoughts on this? You played Grand Theft Auto 3 at least.
Played all three of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any thoughts potentially on this? Anything you're hoping for? Is this something you could see yourself buying?
No. I did not like those three games at all.
Damn.
Yeah.
Fucking gutting me.
I tried playing all three. I could not continue to play all three. The only Grand Theft Auto, and this is going to be a weird one, that I could sit down and play was Grand Theft Auto 4. It's the only Grand Theft Auto I've ever beaten.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I don't even necessarily have fond memories of it. I just beat it.
Just feeling it that time.
Yeah, maybe I was just in the right mindset to be playing a game like that at the time, but not really my thing. I've said it a million times, not huge on sandbox games. I also not really a fan of like the idea of Grand Theft Auto, I guess. The in a story sense, like in a like I remember when these games came out and people were modding like multiplayer stuff on it. I was like, oh, that's a neat idea because it's just like kind of fuck around with your friends type of thing. and that's more up my alley anyways because I like playing with people. But yeah, I mean, really, this for me is just gonna be it's gonna be curious to see what they did with these old games, what they're gonna look like, and if they have decided to add something to them. So
Yeah. All fair points. I'm on the opposite spectrum. I feel like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto has gotten this Call of Duty perspective because they've gotten so popular that people kind of view them like oh, it's fucking Grand Theft Auto, but like Grand Theft Auto is like revolutionary. And I really really fucking I remember when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. It was the first time ever that a game was like that in 3D. And so I have very fond memories of Grand Theft Auto 3. Vice City was awesome, but I wasn't a huge Vice City fan for some reason. It was fun to play, but I loved San Andreas. So this, I've seen pictures, but I haven't watched this trailer yet. I'm gonna pick this up. To have all three games in one place cleaned up sounds awesome. And like I said, I really, as much as how far Grand Theft Auto has come with 4 and 5, gameplay wise, I feel like they're gonna feel kind of obsolete. But especially 3.
town's probably gonna feel real small too.
Oh yeah, I can visually see all of Grand Theft Auto 3 city. Like I remember it that well. Like I know everywhere in that fucking place. But anyway, yeah, I definitely will want to pick this up just because I have a real strong love for the early Grand Theft Auto games. I mean, I like 4 and 5 as well, but 5 specifically. 4 was no, they're all really good. I don't know. It's so weird. There's like this negative connotation to Grand Theft Auto nowadays when you talk about it, which is so weird to me because so many people love those games. That I feel like it's awesome that they're making this because it's like Rockstar doesn't do anything except for make content for Grand Theft Auto Online.
Well, I think that's probably where the negative stuff comes from, is that they got comfortable.
Sure, it's just weird because like you can bring up Grand Theft Auto and some people are like Grand Theft Auto, ugh, and I'm like, damn, really? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't feel that way about it. I just don't enjoy playing them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, but you don't jive with fucking sandbox games that well anyway.
yeah.
Plus the chaos of Grand Theft Auto and the amount of driving, which you're not a big fan of in games, and fucking a lot of explosions and rocket launchers and just chaos. So I mean, it makes sense to me. But anyway, long story short, I'm just kind of babbling at this point. I'm excited to watch the trailer. I'm excited for this, unless it looks fucking awful. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick it up. I have fond memories of Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas. I remember back in the day, me and Josh used to play the 2-player mode in San Andreas and just like cause havoc and fucking run from the cops and shit. It was a blast. Vice City, man, I remember when Vice City came out. I fucking hated. I loved they added motorcycles, but I fucking hated them because if you drove towards the sidewalk, sometimes you just go fly off your fucking bike.
Oh,
Like the
makes sense.
collision
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
work well, and I was like, dude, this game's fucking janky as shit. But it was fun too. They had helicopter stuff for the first time and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely interested, excited, and hoping this will be cool. It's weird too because Grand Theft Auto 3 has been re-released already, like on phone and shit, and they cleaned up the graphics. So it's funny how they keep releasing their games and cleaning them up and cleaning them up and cleaning them up. It's kind of amazing how much you can do that with games as old as PS2.
Yeah, you could tell that they've companies, not Rockstar in general, have invested time and money into tools to remaster games at this point. Because yeah, a lot of old games come out and they get touched up real quick. I'm like, how do they make it look like that already? Like, so
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
I have seen some pictures on Twitter though of this, and people are already making jokes because it does look kind of weird. But you have to remember what these games looked like.
PS2 games, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but they pretty much smoothed it out so they're not jaggy looking, and it kind of looks like Play-Doh. It's interesting. I was looking at some of the ground textures, and it was just like lumpy. It's weird. You'll just have to see it.
when you could only have 3 polygons.
Exactly. It's the limitations that they're trying to build over, so it looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where I'm like, well, you gotta understand this, but then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I get it too because it's ridiculous looking. So let's watch it and form our own opinions. You ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Hello.
So,
Oh, this song is
I got a
giving me
little
trouble.
job for you, pal.
They mess with me, they mess with the biggest boy in town.
See, it almost looks like cartoony,
I'm glad to see things back the way they used to be.
but it does look like way cleaner,
I think it looks way better.
and like it has reflections and shit.
I think nostalgia's
They
probably
ought to put the coyote in
the
the
thing
chicken
people-
coop, huh?
I mean, yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
they had to do a lot of like
ratting us out. Kill him.
tricks with shading.
I guess we should watch the
It's
trailer.
easy.
I'll
Haven't you
go
ever
back.
seen a movie?
Sorry, what were we saying?
You say it like it's a bad thing.
The one thing it seems like they took a shortcut on that the old game had is shading. There's like in like the same way you like drawing shading. Like there's no the skin colors are all one tone, right? Versus like in the old one you can see a lot of like shading and stuff like that. And I know a lot of that was intentional back then because the limitations, they had to try to make it look as good as they could, so they spent more time on that. And this isn't something they're going to dump a lot of money into. They're literally cleaning it up, re-releasing it. It's just it's a quick buck, right? I think on a technical level, it looks way better, way better.
Yeah.
They just didn't spend any time effectively on art assets.
Well, it looks like you could have spent more time texturing the game, and I think that would have made a huge difference.
Yeah,
Like if you added like textures to the shirt, to the wall, stuff like that, I think people would look less at how smooth and not textured it looks, and how, because I think that's what makes it look cartoony.
also
But
the colors are plain. There's no detail to the colors.
exactly. It's missing the detail. But outside of that, I mean, it is obviously better looking.
Yeah, 100%.
By a lot. I mean, look at that. It's a huge difference, but it's also so clean that, like I said, it kind of shows the lack of textures. Like, for instance, if you even look on the original one, it's more textured.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. When you draw a picture and you add shading and details, it's missing that now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So everyone's just very clean and I guess sterile, as much as I feel like I've been using that word a lot lately.
I use that word all the time. So much shit's sterile.
Yeah, it's just it comes off very sterile looking now. Because like that green, for example, on that guy's shirt is one color green with zero details. I can't tell where the folds are, where the light is hitting this guy. Like even in the the 7 is like literally I went into like Photoshop, brought up the text thing, picked a font and hit the button and slapped it on a picture. That's what it looks like. So
Well, here's a funny thing though, because like, yeah, that's lacking, I guess, any character or detail to it. But then look at this back wall.
Yeah.
It's just muddy and there's nothing going on really. There's kind of pictures, and then it's got like lighting now.
Yeah.
Although the lighting looks like way too bright, but like this is so much clearer now.
For sure.
So it's in some places it's more detailed, but then in others it's like it does feel. And I'm not trying to say this in I'm trying not to say this in like a insulting way, but it does feel like they did this quickly.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
And to emphasize, I do think it does technically look better.
Yeah. 100%. Look at the fucking yellow right here on these lights.
Yeah.
It's just so much sharper and cleaner.
Yeah. It's just the character, I guess, would be a good way to the character of the look is gone.
Yeah. I think that's what is missing, is like it's lacking the atmosphere, I guess. I mean, like the rain looks better. I mean, everything looks better on a technical level, but it's missing depth. It's missing. It's sterile. It looks sterile. Yeah. I don't think it's that bad though. Especially for an older game. These were basic and simple looking games, and so this is just a more modern graphic, basic, simple looking game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me, but I understand where people are coming from. But then there's other things that are, well, hold on, let me go back here. Because, like, I wasn't even looking at these trees. Yeah, the trees look better. It's kind of a give or take.
Yeah.
With a lot of things. This car, the shine on it looks way better. It's also rumored too that these are going to have controls like Grand Theft Auto 5 now, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
So if they modernize the gameplay, I think it would be a good thing. Because playing the original Grand Theft Auto 3, it feels outdated. But I also feel like Rockstar's gameplay feels outdated. Like playing RDO on mouse and keyboard feels close to a normal game. But when you play it on console, it feels...
Minus them trying to replicate a joystick with WSAD instead of like giving you tank controls or something.
Yeah, it's weird. I think you can change something in the controls for that though, because there's like a horse perspective, camera perspective thing you can change. I forget what it's called. But anyway, Rockstar is a weird way of the way their games play, and back in the day it made sense, lock on all that shit.
Yeah.
But in modern day, it feels outdated to me. I don't mind it, but it doesn't feel like a modern game. Even Red Dead Redemption 2. Visually, it's the most modern game. It's one of the most modern looking games ever made. But gameplay wise, it's like really weird systematically.
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting. I digress. Yeah, all in all though, nothing here is really deterring me. I do think the faces look interesting though. They're keeping the same shapes, but with what we've already talked about, the lack of texture and like kind of like this darkness to his face in these areas where they're trying to kind of show like it's not real shading, but they're trying to add shading to his face. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They've opted into actual lighting.
They also completely missed his emotion because he looks grumpy in the first picture, and he looks
Just kind of
tired, I guess, in the second picture.
It almost the faces almost look like a Double Fine game.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that.
It's interesting. Anyway, I think what I was trying to say, I'm all over the place on this, is it does look kind of off, but it also looks good to me as well. It's interesting. It's kind of both, but nothing here is making me not want to pick this up. I'm definitely, as a person who really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto, and still does, definitely gonna pick this up. I do kind of want the new style makes me want to play it to see what everything looks like.
Well, and I also have to say, like, realistically, how many people were actively playing these games right now, and how many are going to actively play them once it comes out. Even if it's not like a crazy high number, it has to be more than is currently playing those games anyways.
Yeah.
So it is going to give that experience in the hands of people, and if they do clean up the controls to make it play more modern, even that can be seen as a win compared to sometimes you go back and you play an old game and you forget how bad the controls are. So
yeah, right here, he almost looks like he's dead in right here. And that what did I just do?
You hit picture in picture.
How did I do that?
That one. There you go. So you gotta turn your annotations off.
And then here he looks not dead. So it's really weird. It's kind of hit or miss in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I actually feel like they did better on the environments than the characters, like across the board.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. I think the characters look kind of off. And really, you brought up the facial expression too. It's kind of like locked in, whereas before he looked a little more like he had more going on emotionally. But I do also think the limitations of lighting back on PS2, they were trying to do it through textures. And when you take that away and opt in for real lighting, he doesn't look like how he used to look because effectively he's lost facial definition.
Sure, the shadows that were drawn on are gone.
Exactly, yeah. So that does change things up, and now they are essentially what they would have looked like back then without those drawn on, just smoother. So I think maybe, and you can just be like, I'm not into it, regardless of why they did it. But I think some people might not even be thinking about that. So
no, and
they just see this and go, why do they fucking look weird?
And realistically, they're not going to put a ton of money and time into this. It's not going to happen. So like, this is the product.
I'm honestly surprised they fucking did it at all.
Yeah.
Like when I heard they're going to make a trilogy, I was like, Rockstar? No fucking way. Where's the goddamn Midnight Club trilogy at, dude? Fucking, I'd buy that too. Or I'd take a new one. Rockstar, please do something.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they had some free development time and they found something, or maybe this is someone else is doing it. I'm not 100% sure. 2K and no 2K. Rockstar is kind of hush hush about everything they do anyway. So
Yeah, they don't talk about shit.
yeah, and they have screwed people in the past. So
Sure. Fucking Team Bondi.
Bondi, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing. It's a shame, but yeah, I'll definitely be picking this up, and I think the new art, not new art style, the fucking the upgrade in graphics on a technical level looks really good, but it has changed some identity to the game.
100%.
But and I'm really curious about how it plays because I heard the rumor that it's going to be modernized, which I welcome. So definitely curious. Also wondering if this is going to come out on PC. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Any thoughts?
That was
Anything?
it.
Anything left? PC.
We've been thinking.
Yeah, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch,
That does put a Grand Theft Auto on Switch.
and PC. November 11th, right around the corner. All right. Well, let's know in the comments what you guys think about Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition. First off, what do you think about it visually? What do you think? Like, regardless if you're going to pick it up or not, whether you like Grand Theft Auto, what do you think about the before and afters? What's your thoughts? Do you think it looks better? Do you think it looks worse? Do you think it's kind of a little bit of both, like we were discussing? And then, are you interested in picking this up? Is this made for you, or are you going to skip it? And out of the original trilogy, what's your favorite Grand Theft Auto? It's hard for me to pick, but I think my nostalgia of the first time ever playing Grand Theft Auto 3 makes it my favorite of the three, but San Andreas is a much more robust game where you can get buff or skinny and all sorts of really cool systems, really ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
I'm actually surprised a lot of the systems died in that game, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting systems in like GTAO.
It's not the same, man. You're not lifting weights. You're not riding, a bicycle to get your endurance up.
I mean, Rockstar's been trying to make living, breathing worlds since Grand Theft Auto 3. So it makes sense that they dabbled with it in San Andreas to see how it was, and then they decided not to do it because they dabbled with a lot of things in Grand Theft Auto 4 they fucking abandoned. Mm-hmm. Like realistic physics and realistic car movement because they're heavy as shit in real life, and in that game they were too, and it didn't make for fun driving. So
Yeah.
Favorite Grand Theft Auto in the original trilogy, if you had to pick any?
I guess I'll say San Andreas because technically it was a better game.
Yeah.
Like systematically. So
Fucking
but that's a pretty minor.
Rob loved Vice City.
He's all about that 80s life, though.
Even now, he just lives that 80s life. All right, let's know what you think about in the comments below. Next video we are watching, the last video we are watching is Halo Infinite official campaign overview. I'm just going to jump in. I'm really excited to see this because I honestly have no hype for the new Halo, which fucking blows because I'm a huge Halo fan. But I'm hoping it's going to be awesome. I'm hoping that I'll play it and I'll be like, oh man, awesome. It's good. Like this is all I could hope for. But we have this weird thing going on with this game where they're going to be releasing the multiplayer on its own as a free-to-play thing, and then they're going to release the campaign, and you're not going to have access to certain features yet. Forge won't be out, all this weird shit. But you also be buying the campaign. Then we saw the original campaign footage, and it was underwhelming. It was very underwhelming looking. Graphically, gameplay-wise, it looked like Halo, but it looked like Halo on Xbox 360. It didn't look that great. And then the Craig thing, which is my favorite thing about Halo so far, is just Craig. I'm still all about that Craig life. Rob loves the 80s life. I love the Craig life. Makes sense. But as we've seen, we've just been inundated with fucking Halo multiplayer, which is looking pretty cool. I haven't heard shit really about the campaign. It's been a while since Craig, so I'm excited to get an update on what the fuck's going on with it. And this is an overview, which is something me and you typically prefer when it comes to advertising a game. We like somebody kind of giving us what you're going to be getting into with the game. So this is right up our alley, I feel like, and
Hopefully.
I'm hoping they can show me a campaign worth being excited for, because I've liked almost every Halo campaign except for Halo 5. Was it Guardians?
I think so.
We never beat it, but I wasn't super invested in that one, I guess. So I also don't give a shit about ODST, and I wasn't a big Halo 3 fan. I know there's some people who that's their favorite one, so there's a battle to be fought there. I love Halo 2.
I think that falls in the same. This is gonna be, I guess, an interesting comparison. But I feel like Halo 3 falls in the same categories like Final Fantasy X, where that was people's entry point game.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, 10 was like a lot of people's first, fucking Final Fantasy, and then other people it was like 6 or 7 or wherever.
Yeah, Final Fantasy had weird checkpoints where like this was, for this generation, this was their best Final Fantasy, and 10 was that because a lot of people's entry point for that. And I feel like Halo 3 is that for Halo as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, people would say 2.
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Was a lot of people's first Resident Evil. They never even heard of Resident Evil, and then they played Resident Evil
4
2.
was the other one.
Exactly.
I'd say,
Yeah. And then for me, like Resident Evil 1 was my favorite because that was my entry point. Halo 2, I played the fuck out of Halo. I loved Halo. But Halo 2, I was obsessed with.
I have super fond memories of Halo 1, but that was because that was a social thing. Like, people just hang
we used to have
out.
like LAN parties and shit. Yeah.
And that was just a good time. So.
Yeah, back in the day, you'd bring your consoles to the same house and plug them all in with fucking Ethernet cables.
Yeah.
And goddamn have TVs all over the fucking house. And you'd be sitting around
TVs were much bigger than
snacking and drinking and just fucking playing and being in the same room yelling at each other. And I'd be getting pissed off at people shooting me with a fucking rocket launcher when I was killing everybody else. And they're like, oh, it's an opportunity. And they'd fucking shoot me. Hate that shit. It's fair. It's in the game, but I digress. I like most of the campaigns. So I'm hoping this will be a good one. I hope they can return to form with what they did with 4. Because even though that one got some criticisms too, I was pretty happy with Halo 4's campaign. I thought 343 did a really good job. So it's weird that Guardians didn't hit the same beat. Like it didn't do what they did. Like they already proved they could do it.
Yeah.
And then they kind of fucked up with 5. So
For sure.
I'm hoping they can bring it back because they've already proved that they can fucking make a good Halo game. It's not the best Halo game, but it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm kind of in a similar boat where I've at the very least enjoyed. I don't think Halo stories that like groundbreaking or amazing, but it is totally fine. Like, and the campaign is a fun experience.
Yeah. I think the story of Halo is actually pretty fucking interesting, but I don't think the Halo games have ever been good at storytelling.
That's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, because I think it has really good lore, but the
sure.
games don't fucking portray that way.
The writing department is the best. That I guess would be the best way to put that. But that being said, the campaigns are always fun, and they got better. And obviously, this was Bungie Halo that we start off with, but they were really good about adding things into even the single player over time, where like you could get. You could find things on, and that would actually unlock like modifiers you could bring into multiplayer and stuff like that. It was really neat. I kind of fell out, I wasn't heavy into it anyways, but I played Halo 1 like a lot, and I already said why. Halo 2, I never did play the campaign through that one, and I barely played the multiplayer, but it has nothing to do with Halo 2 as much as I just was not playing Xbox at that point.
Yeah, there's a time where you're done.
Yeah, Fable kind of broke once I realized I wasn't going to get the games I like on the console, I just dismissed the console outright. So
yeah.
Halo 3 I did play. Probably one I played the multiplayer component the most in. And I had a good enough time with it. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but the whole package was fun.
The one Halo I didn't play the shit out of is the one you were playing.
Yeah.
So weird.
I enjoyed
I just didn't like what they did with the abilities. I think a lot of the ideas they came up with in Halo 3 I think were realized better in Reach, even though it's a prequel to it. They brought some of those ideas into that, and I think they're more balanced and smart.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of Reach, I was going to say, I feel like I had a more balanced experience with Reach, and I would say also, I would dare say Halo Reach is probably my favorite Halo game as a game.
Reach was good, yeah. Reach brought me back to Halo.
I really liked the way the game played. So
Yeah, I gave up on Halo after 3 because ODST and 3 I didn't like either really. And then when Reach came out, I gave it a try and I was like, oh shit, this is good.
yeah, it felt really good. It had good customization
Yep.
options for your scoring
Yeah.
as well, and it just really brought a lot to the table for their final farewell to the series. Then moving into 343 Halo 4, I like it was a fun enough time. I liked
Yeah.
it. I did not really play a lot of the multiplayer though. And then Halo 5 we didn't really touch.
Yeah, I tried to play the multiplayer. I didn't like it. I liked the small arena mode that would just throw like 3 versus 3 or something like that. They were like these quick, like fucking get in, get out, 3 minute matches. But that's not what Halo is.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I was playing that and not the actual game because the actual game, like the maps were fucked and the modes were like these huge big team battle ones that didn't feel like how they used to feel, and I just was not into it.
Yeah, well, and again, it is a different development team doing it. Also, you can kind of tell, especially with Halo 4, that they were really paying attention to what the competition was doing. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And wanted to try to use some of that. And I think by doing that, they were kind of forgetting what Halo is because
I think that's been the biggest thing with 343 is they've been codifying essentially Halo.
yeah, it needs to be Halo. You need to stay respectful to those classic things, and then have experimental modes and stuff. Like go.
Well, they
for
added
that.
a grappling hook. That's whatever, cool.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily what I mean, but like I want the things that people expect. It's the same when like people play COD, they expect eventually to be Nuketown's going to be a map, for example. Like that's just a staple at this point, right? I expect Warsong Gulch, a capture the flag mode, that kind of stuff. Like there's these Halo elements that like you expect every single game, and then have that extra like we're gonna introduce this new mode. It has different playstyle and like experimental, and if it catches, cool, and if not, it wasn't the main focus, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think at least from what I've seen, I am a little optimistic in the multiplayer department in the way at least it plays, and from the feedback I've been kind of reading online.
People who played it seem to like
I'm-
it.
I'm
No one's
hopeful.
freaking out about it, but
Yeah.
they're saying it's cool.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful,
Yeah.
but
Maybe 343 is doing the play it safe thing that a lot of people do.
I mean they might need it. So
Yeah. I just don't think they have the option to play it too safe because they made one Halo that some people liked, some people didn't, and then they made one nobody liked.
yeah.
And so they got to make a splash of this one, otherwise they're going to kill Halo. So, although I am feeling more optimistic about this one than the last game.
Well, and the more from the time of Craig until recently, you can visually watch the improvement of the game. So
Yeah, it has been improving. It's wild they even fucking showed it in that.
yeah, I feel like they showed something way too early, but I think it was also important because they got pretty extreme feedback.
They did, yeah, but also it was during a time of the console transition, and people were complaining about Xbox not having games.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to prove they had games, and Halo is their game, the game. So I feel like they were really excited to show people it, but it was so early, even though they delayed it. I don't know how much they worked on that based off of feedback or how much they were planning on working on already.
Yeah.
But they showed something that people were not stoked about. So hopefully in this we will see an update to the visuals and something that makes for a compelling campaign that hopefully we can do fucking multiplayer or split screen is not going to be there on launch.
I think multiplayer, because it's a free-to-play component, right?
No, I mean like co-op.
I'm pretty sure that's later.
Yeah, there's something they said they were going to add later. I can't remember. I can't keep up with this game. We're just going to watch this though, and we can talk about it. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Since the beginning, Halo was about Master Chief and Cortana, partners protecting humanity. But that is now a distant memory. Humanity is fighting for survival. The banished have risen, defeated our heroes, and taken control of the mysterious Zeta Halo. We need a savior. We need hope. We need Spartan 117, Master Chief.
We have a new mission, soldier.
What is it? What's down there?
A weapon.
A weapon? How many guns do you need?
His facial motions were good.
Better than they were.
Yeah.
It also looks like he's in game and not CGI, like the original thing we saw.
Yeah. The lighting's good. That's obviously easy to do with an engine, but it does look good.
In the biggest campaign to date, Halo Infinite invites players to become Master Chief and discover true Spartan freedom in the most wide-open and adventure-filled Halo experience yet. But Chief won't be alone on the journey. His first mission is to retrieve a new AI, codenamed the Weapon.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
Following the events of Halo 5, Master Chief is searching for the answer to a troubling
The
question.
fidelity is way better
What
than
happened to
originally shown.
Cortana?
Yeah.
I was created to lock down Cortana, but I don't know why. What did she do that was so wrong?
Order received. Stand by.
I don't know how I feel with the open world thing, but that's weird for me anyway, so.
Damn, motherfucker.
The answer is
Yeah, that
somewhere
was
on
Just
the
drop
edge.
it.
A damaged world full of wonder, mystery, and danger.
I don't want to play this single player.
And at every turn, the Banished are hunting Master Chief
I
and
play
the
co-op.
remnants of the UNSC.
Victory is already ours. We will meet on the battlefield.
The Banished army is spread across the surface.
This is going to sound kind of shitty because it does look better.
The 100% looks better.
It looks way better, 100%. But I've seen Forza Horizon 5. So I know what the fuck you can achieve, under Microsoft on Xbox.
From the beginning
And
of the
so
Halo
it's
saga,
just kind of
Master
interesting
Chief
because
has
this
been a
is
hero,
looking
ready
to the
fight
point where
and
it
win
it
against
doesn't look like last gen,
impossible odds.
but it doesn't look like crazy good. And it doesn't have to be like something crazy, but there's something about it visually that's still slightly underwhelming. But I don't want to focus on that because it does look way fucking better.
It does look way better, for sure.
It is, isn't it?
And I don't think the models look ridiculous anymore, which is good. It does kind of have a weird, like, again, textures are really weird in this game, but I feel like they're trying to make it also feel like faithful
Yeah.
in that regard.
Well, gameplay wise, it looks pretty good.
100%.
I think the graphic hook looks fun too.
What do we do?
Oh no,
Shut it
is it
down.
Far Cry?
Permanently.
Or was that Red Faction or whatever too?
I remember Faction had it had destructibility as well, but like,
Well, I meant like the base takeover.
oh yeah. In Gorilla.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can grab weapons.
That
What
is
do we
cool.
have here?
I almost feel like this is gonna be like Far Cry, except for Halo physics, which I'm honestly not upset about. I would play that. 'Cause this looks like he's just like fighting an encampment, like
Do you see
take it
that?
over.
Could be useful.
Yeah, really the only
I like
thing
that
that's
kind
a
of
bummer for me is like the one
Oh,
thing I
I
enjoy
like
about playing Halo games is I play a lot of shooters. So it had a very focused campaign.
Structured, yeah,
Halo
100%.
Infinite allows us
You beat
all
a place,
to
you're
become
done.
masters.
You
That's
move on.
hard to
Doing
do
what
with
Spartans
Xbox.
do
It's not
best.
impossible, but it is hard to
Defying
do.
the odds to take down the Banished.
That doesn't mean I won't play and enjoy it. I have
Piece
played and enjoyed
by
some
piece.
Sandbox games.
This
They're
won't
really
be an easy
showing
fight.
off what you can do with that fucking
Master Chief
grappling
will
hook.
take on returning favorites
And I do have a little bit of affinity.
and
to
surprising
Halo, so.
new threats like the agile skimmers, a sadistic Spartan killer named Jaga Urdomnai,
Good boy.
Look out, Chief. He looks...
Angry.
and something even more threatening,
what is
The
he?
Forerunner's lies are at
Was
an
it the
end.
Stalker or whatever? And
I am the harbinger of the
Warframe.
truth.
Yeah.
You are not the future.
Exploring this vast and fractured world will put Spartan 117 to the ultimate test. But where there is courage, there is hope. Welcome to the new era of Halo.
Is everyone trying to kill you?
It kind of seems like it.
oh, that was cheesy. But
Yeah, there's something tonally weird about the game when it comes to like, I guess everything a little bit, but like the dialogue and the story
yeah,
doesn't feel like Halo.
One, I think
like a
people are gonna say
ragtag.
that 5 did that too, though. So
Yeah. Yeah, 5 was weird too.
yeah, so I mean, obviously they're not Bungie, so that it is going to feel more and more away from that.
Yeah, 4 just didn't feel like that far off. Maybe they played it very safe with 4 because people in 343 had worked on Halo. They were in Bungie and all that stuff, and they took
Right.
people off. But of course, by now you've probably have gotten and traded out old people, new people, stuff like that. And so yeah, something feels different, or maybe we're just in a new era where people want more like comedic relief and shit and goofy
Got
stuff.
used to a certain age demographic.
Yeah, maybe that's what's going on here too. But outside of that, I can overlook that.
Yeah, for sure.
I play Ubisoft games, and I typically don't like the characters
Full
or
of cheese, yeah.
yeah, they're character design shit typically all that stuff. So, but gameplay's fun
Yeah.
or was Ubisoft. But here, positives. Game has come a long way. It looks way better, and it's stupid to say it's come a long way because we should have never saw that. We should have saw this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Halo.
But yeah, and I'm not one to dwell on shit like that. So it's better looking. We're done. That conversation's over pretty much. Gameplay's looking like Halo. Halo's got a really interesting. It has interesting physics that other FPSs don't have. And so I'm seeing a lot of that at play here. Even that ship just dropping that fucking ship. That's like someone dropping a fucking jet. Not even landing. Just go. And just like, okay, take that.
Here, take it.
It's so weird. Boom. It's all sparking and shit. So yeah, gameplay's looking good. It's got the physics I like. The grappling hook, I'm glad does abide by those physics. I thought it'd just be like kind of more straightforward, but it seems like you got some swing to it, which is pretty cool. Guns are looking like Halo. It's cool. Enemies are looking like Halo. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested. Oddly enough, though, watching this, I was just like thinking, and I said it, but like, I want to play as co-op. I don't know if I'm interested in playing this by myself.
Yeah.
Which has been a while since I played a Halo by myself anyway, but I used to, do that, and then I'd play it co-op with people. But this one, for some reason, I just feel like I would prefer to play it with people.
Well, and if it's going to be open world, I
Exactly.
think it just lends itself to that at that point. As much as it is obviously John 117's story, it is, it's a big open map, and it's going to feel kind of lonely by yourself. So
Yeah. It's interesting to see him throwing that fucking explosive thing, too.
yeah.
Seems like there's a lot more item manipulation, which is cool because there's already a little bit of that in prior Halos.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I was glad to see that it looks it looks like Halo, and it looks like it feels like Halo, obviously without touching the game. It's hard to say that 100%, but a lot of those things I would expect, like Halo has a pace to it.
Yeah.
And it feels like, especially when it's showing off, when he goes into that, shows after they blow up he blows up the I assume they're those things, and he goes in there, and he's fighting the dude in the blue armor, and the way he was shooting and like wearing down that shield, that's that Halo pace that I expect, and it looked like it felt good in that regard, because I'm not gonna buy Halo for it to have like 2 shots and everyone's dead. Like, that's just not Halo anymore. I could go play Call of Duty and go play Battlefield, like different games for that, So yeah, I wanted to feel like that. I like that like that right there. After that guy got hit by the hammer, he had that heavy weight to him.
Yeah.
With the physics and whatnot. I mean, it looks like they definitely want to make it still look and feel the same, and I really appreciate that because I do feel like in the last 2 games it was a little bit straying from that. So I am optimistic. I am a little weirded about the open world. I wonder how well they can even tell a story in that regard.
Yeah, that does put a dent in storytelling for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some people have done it, but most people, storytelling
It's hard to do.
does not stack up in a open world sandbox the same as like a more linear experience.
Yeah, but if it's a fun experience and there's a lot to do in it, that's not going to be the end of the world for me. Because I'm not necessarily, like I said earlier, Halo's story is not something I'm necessarily clamoring for, but it is a driving force for playing a single player element of a game. So, yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic. I still wish that everything for this game came out at once instead of in pieces. But
Yeah, it's weird. I wish they almost would have just delayed the whole package until they
Yeah.
could release it all at once.
I think for me, I pretty much need to. There won't be like necessarily day one buy for me. I want to hear the consensus after launch. I don't feel like this is one of those games I can just rush out and buy as much as like I would like to. But if it comes out and people like everyone's just saying it's amazing, I'd be tempted to pick it up.
I think it's gonna be getting 8 through 10s. I mean, it's Halo, so maybe some 7s. I don't think it's gonna get anything below that.
I don't.
though.
I don't care about people's scores and whatnot. I want to like just people talking about the game itself.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like an aggregate, even with the general conversation around the game will probably be overwhelmingly positive. I would be surprised if it wasn't. Although that could be skewed because Halo represents Xbox, and you have people who are, and I'm not trying to pick a side or whatever, but people like to rally behind their console. So
Yeah.
Halo, saying Halo is good is important.
Yeah, the brand doesn't matter in that regard. I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it's looking fun. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna do well when it comes out. I'm in the same boat. I'm not like clamoring to get my hands on this. I do want to play it 100%. I'm very curious. Like I said, my past with Halo, a new Halo should be very exciting for me, and I am locked into wanting to play it. But I do want to see how it's received when it comes out, and what that package is going to look like when it comes out. And yeah, I think this game co-op is going to be a lot of fucking fun, though. I don't have anything against open world sandbox games. So the idea of like Halo physics, Halo combat with a friend in an open sandbox area where you can attack places and use different things to blow things up and get crazy with your attacks and different, vehicles, stuff like that. That sounds like a blast. It almost sounds like Halo multiplayer in a single player format, which sounds fun to me, but
Yeah.
story-wise, I don't know.
For sure.
Although I'm out of the loop because I never beat 5, so.
Yeah, could probably watch a video to catch up on that.
People have told me all about it already. I just...
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and the only other thing I really want to see is and then maybe they've already talked about it, and I just missed it, but like a roadmap on the stuff that's coming later, is because I know Forge is a big one. I always think Forge is like such a cool feature, and it's weird that it's not going to have it right off the bat.
Yeah, that's really weird. Not that I'm like, oh, I need Forge, but like it's a feature that people expect. They've had on launch with all your other games, so it's weird they're not doing that this time.
And not to go too far down this road, but Forge is something you can infinitely make money off of. So
yeah. One thing I want to say though, if you look, I keep looking at the foreground, but in the background, I think the lighting looks good.
Oh yeah.
The way it's on specifically here, I was looking at the rock wall here. These flying by, I think looks really nice.
Oh yeah, the lighting's great.
The environments, I think, look, they look like Halo, but they look like modern visual Halo, which is very interesting. Even the clouds in the background, just look really detailed and nice. So
I would actually complain if it wasn't Halo on the visual style, but it does look like Halo.
yeah,
But the environments are a bit all rocks and nothing else. So, but for the property it is.
Yeah, but those like weird Halo trees, they're just like straight up fucking spikes and shit.
Yeah.
It has that look that
One, like,
that feels familiar.
Yeah, 100%. If it was any other game, I'd be bitching about how like plain,
Yeah.
detail wise the environments are. They are very graphically well made, but
Yeah.
the trees are very much like almost feel copy paste resized. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that'd be very easy to do. Most people aren't probably looking at the fucking trees in Halo.
sure. Just nitpicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on it?
I'm just happy as I keep saying every time we see a new Halo video, I'm happy to see that it's looking more and more like Halo and less like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to feel like it has an identity, though now I'm starting to see that it's taking influence from too many games.
Yeah.
And again, the big thing, I went on a rant a while ago about this when talking to somebody, but I was like, Halo needs to stop trying to take beats from other popular games because you're fucking Halo, right?
Yeah.
You're not some FPS trying to get back at like or get up and get well known. Like you're fucking Halo. You're one of the most influential FPSs ever fucking made in video games, ever. Up there with fucking Doom, with fucking Call of Duty, Wolfenstein. Halo is one of the most influential FPSs ever made. You have an identity. You have the reasons people fucking love Halo. You don't got to be Far Cry. You don't got to be an Ubisoft game. You don't got to be Call of Duty. I get why they're doing it, but you don't need it at all.
Yeah.
Nobody who plays Halo is asking for that. Now, there's nothing wrong with having, destructible stuff and missions, stuff like that.
For sure.
But it does feel like with the last two games, they weren't really doing that. So now it's just like, well, what do we do? What do people like? And I worry about that. I'm not trying to bitch about it. It's something I don't want them to feel like they need to be other games.
Well,
when they have their hands on fucking Halo.
For sure. And the thing about that is too, as well, is like you don't want all shooters to be homogenized because
No, dude.
Then it's going to be boring.
Too many people were trying to be Call of Duty for fucking years, man. I'm over it. Like Call of Duty's Call of Duty. Let it be. Even fucking Battlefield has some Call of Duty shit going on, and I'm like, dude, I get that Call of Duty sells well. You're not Call of Duty though. You're not gonna sell Call of Duty numbers trying to be like them.
For sure. Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's you need to have an identity, and when everything is the same, why buy anything else once you have something at that point? So like be original, have like as much as you can be, obviously, have ideas, but also that identity is really important, I think. So
yeah, I mean like Halo's got the physics-based vehicle combat, fucking I don't even like big or large TTK times, but Halo's gameplay is surrounded by the idea of having regen shields, which other games took and just made that your life bar, the regen. But Halo had like actually fucking a reason to have regen health. It had brutal fucking powerful weapons that when you do have high TTKs, it can just fucking obliterate a dude. So they felt powerful, and they had the physics to back it. People go flying and shit. It just had this arena shooter chaos in a fucking big open map area that still, like original Halo, no fucking FPSs now are like it. And so it's so weird to me that they're keeping most of that. This looks like that, but at the same time, ADS, sprint, all that stuff, which there's nothing wrong with really a sprint, but the pacing of combat in Halo was like everyone's moving the same speed. You have your weapons and skill of shooting and aiming, but then also if you can get in close, that's how you fucking take people out instantly. Is getting that hit in. And, it feels a little less like that. Although the grappling hook's an interesting add because you have a thing now that closes ground to hit people, which I think is really interesting. I thought it might be gimmicky. It's the second game I thought a grappling hook might be gimmicky, and I'm like, it looks pretty cool. Because Battlefield, I'm like, I don't have a grappling hook for Battlefield, and I use them, like, it's fine. So I'll stop judging grappling hooks so much. Anyway, I can go on and on about Halo in general, but this is looking cool. I definitely want to see where they go with this and what the finalized package will look like and how long I have to wait to get the full package. But yeah, I'm happy with where they're going.
Agreed.
Anything else? Let us know in the comments what you guys think about Halo Infinite official campaign overview. Did this sell it for you? Were you already sold? Are you still kind of on the fence about it? Does this look like Halo to you? Or does this look like an amalgamation of other games and Halo, or completely alien to you? What stood out to you? What do you think about the grappling hook? What do you think is looking good in this? What do you think is looking bad? And yeah, let me know your general and overall thoughts on Halo Infinite in the comments below. It's that time again where we read your comments and reflect on past episodes. We're going to read those comments, and if you want your comment to be read, just all comment on the same video. I'm probably going to read them all anyway, but this time. But typically type in hashtag AskTLG in your comment, and I will pick that one for sure. Otherwise, I pick at random. So if you don't get picked, you should have typed that in. Yeah, so we did a taste cast recently. We reacted to Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Gotham Knights, and Endwalker Job Actions. We also talked about Far Cry 6. I reviewed it, gave my full thoughts on it. It's a huge chunk of that episode, so make sure to check that out as well. We got 2 dislikes on this video. Always happens if we talk about Blizzard or comic books, because we're not like super huge on comic books, so I always expect to get some dislikes. But then Blizzard as well, because we're not like super fanboys.
Well, I think that'd be less of an issue these days, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a possibility anymore. But like 2-3 years ago,
yeah,
we talk about Blizzard stuff and we get like a dislike or two. It's pure like, these guys don't fucking love Blizzard. And it's like,
for sure, and
he caught me.
And yeah, I remember even checking this video like moments after you uploaded it, and it almost immediately had
the 2 dislikes instantly. I was like, same dude, like,
yeah, I was like,
has multiple accounts,
like, oh, someone got upset.
which is fine, fucking dislike it, but like I just think it's funny, it's always around certain topics. It's like guaranteed dislikes.
Feed the algorithm.
Yeah, for sure, it helps, honestly. But yeah, check out that episode if you're curious about what we thought. That was another 2.5 hour taste cast. This is gonna be a short one.
I'll say this will probably be about 2 hours, I feel.
Yeah. Yep. 2 hours. We're shortening them. We're getting shorter and shorter and
Getting
shorter.
there.
Yeah. So we got comments from all of you, but we're going to read the first one, which is from Cody. He typed in hashtag AskTLG, saying, as somebody who listens primarily on Spotify, I fuck with long tasty casts. It's not a bad thing to have too much to talk about these days. I agree. And I mean, we enjoy doing the long ones anyway, but it does take a lot of our day to record that. It takes a lot of time on my part to edit it, export it, upload it on multiple things. So it is like an all day thing for us, and then I release it to you guys, and hopefully you enjoy the whole thing. Some of you definitely do, but I'm glad that you fuck with it, Cody. I hope so. It's also interesting you listen to on Spotify. I know a couple people who listen as opposed to watch on YouTube, which is cool because we average like I think 30 something listens now on audio form on top of the views we get. So it's cool that we have regular listeners. I'm curious who those people are. Glad you're liking Back 4 Blood, Seth. Aside from big run ending glitch I encountered, my biggest issue with the game, well, I don't even know what big run ending glitch you're talking about. Let me know. Hit me up or fucking comment. My biggest issue with the game is matchmaking. I find myself having to create another run a couple safe rooms back just to get in a lobby. It is really interesting. You play like a couple runs and then it just throws you back in your like camp essentially, and then you have to matchmake to do another one. I'm not sure. I actually played in the beta with people. We're all in a party, and you stay together between those runs. But if you're playing with randos, they're gone. Although I've only played for like 3 or 4 hours in the game, but multiple times I did runs, and when I got kicked from the group, I would get friend invites because I was like communicating shit. So I'm sure they were like, "Oh, let's play with him again." But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And most of the time, people jump out once shit gets wild. I did not run into that, but that's funny.
I mean, that's Left 4 Dead 2 as well, though.
I just think it's funny that people are leaving if it gets wild. That's the game. I had one guy who was playing so bad, though, and no one's being mean to him. But he kept going down. He kept going down, and we had to keep getting back up. And like the third time he went down, he just left. So
I felt embarrassed.
probably, or he's like, fuck, like I'm losing this for them, all that shit. So
lot of people
I
put
guess
on
that is shit got wild and he left.
Yeah,
But
so people put way too much pressure on themselves
yeah,
and that kind of stuff.
well, some people get pissed and frustrated too.
Sure.
They're not like,
I say we both know specifically a person who's like that. So
yeah. I've had 2 solid long runs with randoms that worked out really well, but I've had the opposite luck with communication in game, though honestly, but everyone that does talk in game is usually chill as fuck. This is in response to me saying that in my experience in the game, I've had pretty much nothing but good experiences with people, and every game I've played, I've talked with the people I'm playing with, whether it's only like 1 or 2 other people. It's never the whole fucking room, but yeah, I've had really good luck with it. Also, can I put in a game for Game of the Month? Just picked up Forewarned, which is a Phasmophobia-esque 4-player multi with Magi. So pyramids, puzzles, and mummies. Looks pretty spooky, swaggy. I'll have a conversation with Chevy on that one, but typically we just did the community pick, but you're tasty crew, so maybe we'll throw that on the list. I don't know. Although I don't think it's really up Chevy's alley.
as soon as you said that,
Phasmophobia.
yeah, which got a new map recently, by the way. Yeah, you lost me. So
And I've seen Forewarned. I remember a couple months back, it was like early access, something like that. I was watching, and it was like just a bunch of people running around in a pyramid, and it was like fucking some kind of weird, I guess, magi fucking chasing after him. So I would definitely play a game like that.
I would say I would probably counter if you just asked or planned a night that I'm sure Seth would be down, but even like Chris or Josh or whatever, I can't see them saying no to playing something like that. So
Fucking Josh, if he shows up, dude.
that's not a no. That's just not being.
It's a no when he's not there.
But I feel like you can get people to play that just by asking.
For sure. I gotta look it up again. I wanna know how far it's come. As for Back for Blood, we should play sometime if you're playing it. I'd be down to do that. And I need to look into Forewarned and see where it's at. But I'll definitely be down to play it. Let me know more updated how you're feeling about that game though. If I should pick it up or not. Anything you want to say?
I mean, I kind of said my piece in the
I've made
last
my
part
piece.
there. And as far as like the middle piece goes, honestly, the game already like is like very much a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. But then the experiences you're going through just kind of remind me of Left 4 Dead. The only thing that's really changed is people are less inclined to do voice chat these days. So those communication problems are just going to be prevalent in every game you play. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
nope.
Thanks for the comment, Cody. Thanks for putting hashtag STLG as well.
Instructions were clear.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really bad about it though, because I just end up reading all the comments because I'm fucking a sucker for communication. I'm like, oh, these people want to talk. Let's talk back to them. But yeah, that's how
It
you
just
for
makes
sure.
it easier to see is all.
Yeah, exactly. It helps out.
Yeah.
I know who's trying to be on and talk with us, and who's just passively saying hell yes.
I mean, it's effectively just clear communication. That's all
Yeah.
it is. So.
With that, Jeremy Melendez says, hell yes. Glad you're stoked. We're stoked. You're stoked. Hopefully you enjoy that episode, and hopefully you're enjoying this episode. Jeremy Melendez also says, why does everyone seem to forget Martian Manhunter is part of the Justice League? He's way too badass to be left out all the time. Yeah, I agree. He's not really in anything outside of the comic books, and it's really interesting because he's like super fucking powerful. And everyone, I think we're getting out of it now, but there was a while there where everything that's not a comic book was trying to be realistic and gritty, and to have someone like Martian Manhunter be in it might feel a little too crazy. But then, like with the MCU introducing some more comic book like crazy stuff to it, I think people have become more open to the idea of having the more zany, I guess, stuff. Even though I wouldn't say Martian Manhunter is zany, but he definitely has a visual style to him that I think people have just been like, I don't know if we want to add him or not. But he's crucial, so it's really fucking weird. I agree with you on that. And he is badass. Anything you want to add to that?
Not only have I forgotten that he was in the Justice League, I didn't know who he was.
Oh damn. Oh damn. We got Jeremy, and I still don't know how to say your last name, and you've told me before. And I've pronounced this so many ways, so I'm just going to not do that again. He says, yeah, let's talk about 4 game, including Final Fantasy 14. Hope it won't be 3 hours long. Yeah, right. This is literally what I say before shooting every episode. I'm like, we're going to aim for not a long taste cast, but that never happens. So I say that. It's not going to happen, though. So, and again, we don't mind, but it's just funny how that always works out like that. And you're right. Yeah, fucking here's 4 games. Let's make this short. It's not going to happen. In fact, fun fact, I have the 3 videos we watched in this taste cast, and then I have 4 other videos that I humored putting in this that I might have to make a TLG react. So I'm glad I didn't add those because this would be a 3-hour episode. Continuing, I really don't mind long video. Keep up good work. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it.
I feel like our audience all agrees with that sentiment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I set out early on to make long form podcast discussions. So, you know, I'm glad we found people who want that. Chevy, you forgot to say that you also played Final Fantasy 14. You guys did take a couple hours to help me out. Again, thank you very much. Super appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I probably didn't mention just because obviously it was just me logging in and doing what I would consider repeat material for myself. Obviously I did assist you, and I would just say, that's available all the time. You just have to ask. So
super appreciated. Yeah. And Seth, don't you dare talking shit about my warrior. I didn't fucking talk shit about him. I just said he was not as interesting.
Not ecstatic about that type of character.
He's not as interesting as the other characters. The other 18 fucking jobs in the game. He looks powerful though. Looks like a powerful boy. If you're looking for a power boy,
they're great tanks.
That is a great power tank. And you're better for it, Jeremy. Love you and your warrior.
I also don't like playing it though.
I don't think I would either. Looking at him. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you.
Then we got Miss. How do you say this?
I'm gonna go with Nolitha.
Miss Nolitha. Known you guys forever, which we've gotten comments like this a couple times, and every time I get this, I'm like, "Who's that? Like, what does that mean?" Although we talked about it earlier, and we're not gonna say who, but
not gonna say any names.
Yeah, but we
pretty sure
think we know who it is. So that's very interesting. Interesting that you're watching. Hopefully you enjoy what we're doing here. It's good to hear from you. Known you guys forever, but just started watching your videos. For the Gotham Knights Court of Owls game, there's a trade comic called Court of Owls that might be worth checking out before you play the game. I might have to check it out. I'll have to look it up for sure, but good recommendation. And thank you for the comment. Anything you want to add to that?
I would say as well, it is a good recommendation, especially because now we get to tell everyone else that I am also going to say that's not going to happen for me. I don't read comic books, so
fucking the old shutdown, the old Chevy shutdown. Make shirts that say Chevy shutdown.
I mean, I go through this all the time too in the anime community because everyone's like, just read the manga. No. I'm not interested in reading. I want to watch the animation. So
play an open world sandbox game where you read manga and comic books.
So VR?
Yes.
That's expensive.
I have a fucking VR headset.
No, though I have thought about it multiple times.
You can buy my old one. I'll buy a new one.
No, I'd buy a Valve an Index at this point.
I would buy Valve.
It's just give me Valve.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Now we'll start making games again.
That'd be nice. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you.
Puppet Master says, so when's the 24-hour Tastecast video coming?
No.
Chevy shut down again. You got shut down. No 24-hour Taste Cast. Although when we hit 1,000 subs, we did do a fucking 24-hour stream, and it was rough.
It was rough.
So rough that it's been a little bit, and I'm older now, and I feel like it'd be even harder now for me to do that.
I can fall asleep and not know I'm falling asleep now, so that's probably not a...
That's scary. I'm not there yet, but I'm younger, so yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it might accidentally happen. Sometimes we just film longer than we intend to, and what's 24 hours in when it comes to great conversations? That better be a real good conversation.
I'm pretty sure that's like a factor of like 6 to 7 compared to what we do. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So not gonna promise anything, but don't lose hope. All right. Well, thank you everybody who commented on that last Tasty Cast. It's appreciated. If you want your comment to be read for sure or read first, hashtag AskTLG. It also helps kind of filter out who's trying to talk with us and who's just talking in the comments. We do read every comment though, so it's all appreciated. Thank you, and check out that episode. And I think with that, that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 151. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and streams. Links down below. I need to start streaming again. I haven't done it since COVID, so it's been a while. Actually, I think I did one stream during that time. I don't remember. We are on iTunes, Spotify. Yeah, I played Origami too, but I barely remember it because I was sick.
Yeah, checked in on you and you were pretty out of it. So
yeah, I was like barely talking during that stream and shit. I was just trying to concentrate. Ooh, that was a fun 2 weeks. Yeah, we're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel further than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. If you're brand new, if you just got here, you're watching the end of this video, you didn't watch the rest of it, and you're like, oh shit, I'm brand new, subscribe. I'm sure you might like something until we talk about comics or Blizzard or some other thing with a strong fandom. My name's Seth. Thank you for joining me, Chevy. And stay tuned, guys. We have Plus Club and Game of the Month coming out this weekend. They have to come out this weekend because that's the end of the month. And there's a fucking State of Play, I believe. Is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday? I'm not sure. I think
it was technically November.
I think it's coming soon.
We'll find out.
When that happens, we're going to react to that. So stay tuned for that. And I have videos to watch that could not fit on this Tasty Cast. So I will probably be doing a TLG react soon. You're welcome to join me. We'll find out.
So I think I have a suggestion for you anyway. So
if he shows up or not, stay tuned for that. But until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.